Time for the 1480 Club with John Lewis and Brian O'Neill.
All right, and here we are, Tuesday, May 3rd, 2016. Welcome to the 1480 Club. Brian O'Neill is in today. He's kicking around here, but I am here on air with our guest again today, Derek Belinsky. Derek, how are you?
Very well, sir. How you been in the past couple days?
Very good. Thank you. Happy to be here on a Tuesday, May 3rd. One quick reminder, too. You may have heard this if you've been listening this morning. If you've bought radio auction items at our last radio auction, please remember to come pick those up. You can find us. Regular business hours are 9:30 to 4:30 during the week. We're here now, but we're on the air, so that's why we tell you 9:30. And 4:30 is usually a good time to come on and grab those items. With that being said, Derek and I are here in the studio, but we have a special guest on the telephone with us this morning, Adrian Morley, who actually works at Alfred University. So we worked in the same building for a long time, Adrian. In our intro, we already knew that, saying hello. But Adrian does shipwreck diving, deep sea diving, and he's got a lot of great stories and a lot of good experiences. Adrian, thanks for joining us on the show today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yes, and for those who don't know you, Adrian, you have a bit of an accent. Would you mind telling our listeners where you're originally from?
I'm originally from England. I moved over to the U.S. when I was 14, and that was more years ago than I care to admit.
Great, and you've still got enough of that accent that just makes everyone say, oh, I really, really like this guy. So hopefully our listeners are already warmed up to you this morning. And amongst working at Alfred U, again, you do shipwreck diving, you do diving. How long have you been doing this for?
I originally started diving in 1997. I had a chance to do a 6-week sabbatical in Mexico, and we actually drove from L.A. to Cancun. We did about 3 weeks of driving, literally through the desert, through the small towns, and then we ended up at a beach called Escazal, which is about an hour south of Cancun. And we were there for 3 weeks, and while I was there, I spent a week becoming PADI certified, which is one of the organizations that certifies professional divers. And I spent 2 weeks diving and just doing nothing but diving for the whole day. So it was fantastic. That's how I actually started.
Okay, great. Now, I also know you as a photographer, and that's part of what you do now as well, is you do videography when you're underwater, and that also becomes still shots and photography, deep sea photography as well, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, photography underwater via scuba diving has always been one of my dreams, one of my goals. So obviously I had to start scuba diving first.
Sure.
So I've gotten to that point, and now I'm finally comfortable enough in the water because there's a lot that goes on. It's a very technical sport. So I'm comfortable enough now to where I can actually bring a camera with me and I can actually start taking photographs. And I went with the GoPro because it's a very inexpensive way to get started. And video is what most people want to see, but there are aspects of the video that where you can take a still frame. I can run it through Photoshop, and I can come up with some amazing, single frame shots that look like actual photographs. And that's what I've been doing. So it's an inexpensive way to get me started in the photography, because to go the next route is very expensive. So I think I'll start this way first and see how it goes.
Great. So you've been diving since '97. Where are some of your favorite trips that you like to mention?
Well, right after I got certified in diving is when I got married and had kids, and life kind of happened, and so I didn't dive for a number of years. And then just recently, probably, I started a couple of years ago. I met a guy local who also dives with me, and I started diving again. And we've done a lot of diving in Key Largo, which is off the Keys of Florida, and that's where most of our shipwreck diving has been done. But we've also been fortunate to go to Roatan, which is a small island off the coast of Honduras. So we've done some international diving as well. We're actually going back there next week.
Oh, really? Great. Okay. How long will you be gone for?
We'll be on for a week. It's one of those all-encompass resorts. So you pay the fee and you stay there all week, and you dive at the location where you're staying, and you can do as many dives as you want. Last time we went, we actually did 23 dives in 1 week, which for anyone who dives, that's a lot of diving.
Wow. And I don't dive, and I'm thinking that's a lot of diving. I'm assuming you go once a day And then you're like, oh, great, let's go back, to the hotel or wherever you're staying. Oh, and how long is a typical dive? I'm really raw to this.
A typical dive, usually you do 2 dives in the morning, you come back for lunch, you do 2 dives in the afternoon, and then if you've got enough energy, you'll do an actual night dive, which is just as it sounds. You go out in the dark with flashlights underwater. A typical dive, not to get too technical, but the further you go down, the more air you use. So depending on your depth, really. If you're doing a deep dive, you may only do 20 or 30 minutes. But if you're doing a shallow reef dive, you usually time out after about an hour and come up with still air remaining because, you've got a lot of other people on the boat, so they don't want to move on to the next location. So I would say a typical dive is probably about 40 minutes.
Okay, great.
Adrian, it's Derek here. How's it going?
Good.
So I'll digress and let you talk a little bit about your kids. How's track season so far this year for them?
Oh, they're doing well. I've got 2 in the varsity track now, so they actually got a track meet tonight, so I'll be out there with my camera.
Excellent. So do you own all of your equipment when it comes to diving, or do you have to rent it and pick it up there? How's it work?
I actually do own all my equipment, including tanks and a compressor, and my friend and I, we made a decision to do that because basically if you have the gear and you don't use it, it's a waste of money is what we thought. So we both chipped in and we bought a compressor, and we'll actually dive the local lakes. We both have access to lakefront properties, so we'll dive Keuka and we'll go up to Lake Ontario, and we'll take the compressor with us. And we've even been to Canada and dived in the lakes there. And you do the dives in the morning, you fill up your tanks, and you go back out again.
What would you say the most interesting thing you've seen in all of your experiences, either locally or deep sea?
Wow, definitely marine life. When we were at Roatan, we actually did a shark dive where you're not in a cage, you're out in the open water, and the sharks are swimming around you, and you actually go out and swim with the sharks, and then they feed the sharks, and then there's the typical shark feeding frenzy you see on TV. Then once they're full, you go out and swim with again, pick up their teeth, and then they slowly disappear. So that was really exhilarating.
We're exhilarated here.
I know, we're looking at each other like, this is great. Adrian,
I think the biggest surprise was I was diving the Spiegel Grove, which is a artificial reef. They take retired naval vessels, Coast Guard vessels, and they actually sink them for the sole purpose of giving marine life a place to grow. And we actually penetrated direct, and we were diving. I was swimming down the corridor in the dark with a flashlight, and obviously you can only see where the light shines. And I turned and I looked into a room, and probably 15 feet away was a 400-pound grouper.
Oh,
that
wow!
Startled me. That's probably the one and only time I've actually, held my breath and had to gain composure. So he looked fine where he was, so I just let him be, and I went my separate ways, and it was good.
Great, and literally probably holding your breath underwater.
Yes, which is not a good idea, but
right.
For that few brief seconds, that's exactly what I did.
And Adrian, again, thank you for joining us on our show today. We have a short show every morning. Could you leave us with, is there a way we can view your videography, your photography work from your dives?
I haven't actually posted my dive photos, but
Okay.
I'd be happy to do so.
Oh, great.
I'm on Facebook, so if you search for Moorlings Photos on Facebook,
Great.
I'll try to get those up in the next few days, and that'll give people something to look at.
Great, wonderful. For Moorlings Photos or Moorling
Correct.
Photos?
Moorlings with an S and
Oh,
photos.
with the S. Great.
That's on Facebook.
Well, thank you again for joining us this morning. Adrian Morley, who does deep sea diving, shipwreck diving, videography and photography, marine videography and photography, Moorlings Photos on Facebook. Adrian, thank you for joining us, and welcome back to Rob Carolyn, back from your trip to Florida.
That's right. Got back home yesterday, and here I am bright and early this morning, John, taking a look at the weather across the Northeast, and it does not resemble what I saw in Florida at all last week.
Oh, I'm sure.
clouds and cool temperatures this morning, and even some patchy fog. Rainy pattern off to our south and east that is eventually going to expand westward, John, and actually clip our area. Not so much today, but by tomorrow and into the day on Thursday, we're going to start to experience some of the wet weather as well. Today we'll see lots of cloudiness to start, some patchy fog. Some breaks of sun develop as the day goes on. We're up to 60 to 65, but late today there could be a stray shower. There's the potential for a few showers tonight. Lows will end up around 45. Tomorrow looks like an unsettled day as low pressure passes south and east of the region. We'll have clouds, scattered showers, and even a thunderstorm. 65 for tomorrow. Wet weather hangs around into Thursday. More showers, 60 to 65. We'll get back into some sunshine Friday before another round of showers and thunderstorms moves through on Saturday. John, it looks very unsettled right into the start of the weekend, and then we dry things out the second half of the weekend and into early next week.
Oh, great. Well, we'll be waiting all week for that, I suppose.
Yes, we will, and we'll be really looking forward to it by the time we get to Friday, since the sun's going to be hard to find after today.
Okay. And Rob, favorite part of your vacation?
Oh, boy, just relaxing on the beach. The weather was outstanding while we were down there. We had sunshine and temperatures in the 80s every single day, so the beach days were the best days.
Great. Well, we hope you had a good time, and we welcome you back, and we will talk with you tomorrow.
You got it, sir.
Thank you. We will be right back on the 1480 Club.
What to make of it all? Trump and the popular vote.
We're going to win for the country. We're going to win, and we're not stopping.
Cruz and the delegates.
I think Donald knows he can't earn the support of a majority.
Check out the shows with the guests in the know who've got the answers.
That the Republican Party is fragmented.
Usual that we're even having these conversations, because usually by this point in the race, we would have reached a nominee.
They want to stop Trump now at all costs, and as soon as they can, they're going to abandon Cruz, and as soon as they can, they're going to hope that they can get somebody else in this race.
In this out-of-the-box election year, keep it here. AM 1480 WLEA.
Back here on the 1480 Club. Just a few minutes left today, and we want to thank again Adrian Morling for coming in today and joining us on the phone. I could hear that. I hadn't hung up the phone on Rob there. But, yeah, what a great week we've had so far. 2 guests. We have some more coming up this week and one more on Thursday, thanks to you, Derek.
Mike Waffle will be joining us. I believe it'll be a taped conversation. Joining us Thursday.
Okay,
talk
great.
about the I would forgive my ignorance, the St. Louis Rams. They are now the Los Angeles Rams.
Right, yes. So we'll have a lot to talk to him about: the draft, the move to Los Angeles, and in this draft, actually, they had the number 1 pick as well. So some very, very cool topics we can talk to Mike about. Again, a Hornell native who has a Super Bowl ring, so pretty cool there.
Yep, with the New York Giants. And did you mention Quentin?
We did not. So yesterday we were so busy talking with Andrea, but was it last Thursday we talked with Quentin Gause, who was a prospect for the NFL, hoping to get drafted. Derek, why don't you tell everybody what happened?
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just did some reading. However, Quentin went undrafted, and probably an hour after, how many draft picks were there? 753, I want to say.
Were there?
783,
okay.
Something like that, over 8 rounds or whatnot. Maybe 15 minutes after the last pick was made, Mr. Insignificant, I guess they call him, Quentin must have gotten a call from the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was signed shortly after. So
right, so signed a contract. Congratulations. And I did see photos. He looked super happy. He had the Eagles hat on. They were ready to go over the weekend.
We discussed this before we started our show today. I think going undrafted may even just spark more motivation out of the kid, and he's already a great kid from what I hear from Coach Gene Maston and doing some research and whatnot, so maybe we can expect some great things from the Eagles and Quentin Gause.
Great. Well, Derek, thanks for lining that up last week, and Mike Waffle this week. We should have a guest tomorrow, and I'm just going to have to double-check today, but I believe we have one who would be a returning guest who has some great information. And then we will be back on Friday with Shelley Stevens. So we may have a full week of guests, so a lot of great things going on. Thank you all for listening to the 1480 Club on this Tuesday, May 3rd. We will be back tomorrow. And in the meantime, don't forget you can share our show with your friends from WLEA.net. Tell everyone to listen. We love that, and we're getting, I feel, more popular with this show every day, Derek. So thanks to you for joining me in the studio today as well.
Not a problem. Thanks for letting me be your booking agent, so to speak, over the last couple of weeks.
It's been working really well. Very interesting. Again, another shout out to Adrian Morling. Thanks very much. Morling's Photos on Facebook. We will see you all again tomorrow. Thank you.